Welcome to Hospital Hill, a township on the outskirts of Johannesburg where many promises were made, but only few have been fulfilled. In 2016, government promised to build 400 RDP houses and contracted Mokoena Construction to build this multi-million rand project. Pensioners were to be prioritized.
People came wanting to build me an RDP house. They told me to demolish my house as they would build a new one on top of it. But since then, nothing has happened. I lost everything in this house.
But it would seem political interference and manipulation has led the project being stalled.
The project was stalled because it was unrest, the protest, the closing of the gate in the side camp, and in fact the subcontractors, there were disagreement with the subcontractor, that is was Mokoena project, and then based on the payment, so they managed to close the gate. In fact, it was unrest for the projects. So it ended up that project from Mokoena project, it didn't manage to continue because each and every time, in fact, within 2 weeks or within a month, the project was stopped.
5 years later, only 85 houses have been completed. The remaining 315 are either incomplete or near a state of collapse.
On 2016, housing people, they came by my house. They say I must destroy my 2-room. I was staying there with my 5 children. So now, my RDP is not finished at all. I'm suffering now. I can't but I have to chase my children away. Then I have to but. So I need government they must come by my house to stay there, to see how they can feel, because I'm suffering a lot.
And the housing department says a new contractor has been appointed.
The conclusion is, this year on 8 January, Human Settlement sent me an email that confirmed that they approved the new contract that are going to start to finish these RDP houses. The name of the contract is Buyanempumelele Construction. But now, department itself, they are busy with administrative process.
Where the new contractor said to come in, millions of rent have already gone down the drain, and taxpayers are said to fork out even more. This has put the spotlight on the tender system, as many are manipulating this system.
First is that we fully support the approach that we have made a call years ago that we should detenderize the state. That the state should not just be an institution that adjudicates tenders, but it should have a capacity to implement its own programs without over-reliance or reliance on tenders. But there could be some areas where they don't have particular services and they may require to procure those services through a tendering system. But that if they were to do that, it must be an open tender system.
The country's third biggest party has called for the system to be abolished. It wants the state to take over the work.
Part of the founding cardinal pillars of the EFF is to build state capacity with the intention of abolishing tenders. That is part of our founding pillars as the EFF. So part of the reasons why we exist is because we think that government and the state must build its own capacity with the aim of abolishing tenders. So that is why, if we were to check what have been the major issues that we propagate for in the municipalities, is to deal with internal capacity.
While the governing party has no problem with the system, it's aware it's being manipulated.
Tenders by themselves are not the problem. It's the mismanagement of tenders that is a problem. Most economies have tenders as a way of crowding in the private sector to give service to the public sector. What has happened to us is that tenders with names are a problem. So a tender is put out, but that tender already has a name.
The governing ANC will have to do more than just acknowledging the problem. If corruption is not arrested, the country will find it difficult to turn the corner on the ailing economy and to create the much-needed jobs. In most cases, public money is lost and beneficiaries are the ones who suffer the most. And while the country loses almost 30 billion rand to corruption annually in these tenders, there is a mounting call to do away with this system of public procurement. Ntebo Mokobo for SABC in Johannesburg.